It's Friday. Do you know where your IT pros are? We don't. It's Patch and Switch. And now two guys who can't get their act together. Do they ever get their act together? I don't think they get their act together. I don't think they even act. Here they are, Patch and Switch.
This is where I unmute myself, right?
Yeah, you have to unmute yourself, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they can't get their act together, so we have to cover for them.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that the truth?
Nice.
Did I hear correctly? I heard a nasty rumor.
What's that? What's the rumor?
You put Joey in Microsoft jail because he showed a picture from MVP Summit?
He's on a 24-hour suspension ban.
What? As his direct manager, I'm here to act under protest.
You wait a sec. You're Joey's manager?
No, I'm not Joey's manager. I am here to protest for Mr. Snow.
Got it.
Since he has been suspended.
Yeah. Well,
wait a minute. If anybody was posting pictures of the summit, it was
Patch and Switch account, actually. No, I took a picture of the cameras facing away from the stage. No people on it except for the vendors that were running the cameras. They had like very expensive red cameras, like the same ones that they shoot Macklemore videos with.
Right.
Those red cameras are like 15 grand a piece.
No, the lenses looked like they were worth about 30 grand a piece. Anyway, they're beautiful cameras. So I had to take a picture of the setup. I unfortunately do not have the budget to be able to qualify for those. That's why I'm using this camera right here. That's hobbled together with different pieces, only works on one system. Like I had to reboot to be able to get it to work because, you know, Windows has a great time with default audio devices and default camera devices whenever it gets a security update. So, pretty rough. And for those that are not at MVP Summit, in case you did not travel in to be able to see it, today is the day when potentially product groups do some special side meetings with stuff. And so the summit officially closed yesterday. There were some festivities. There was some beers that were had amongst friends. There was great conversations all throughout the week. And then today, I know some of my friends and folks that are still here in town are meeting on campus. And we decided and elected, mainly because they wouldn't give us the main stage, we're doing this remote. And then, of course, Joey goes and blows the NDA. So he's suspended for a day. So here we are. And I had to call on these two. So this is like a testing in production mashup gaggle of friends amongst Patch and Switch. And so I donned my best beer. How's this?
Okay.
My best beer shirt that I could find.
Well, I had to find the cleanest shirt I had, which was a GitHub shirt. So
we appreciate it. We appreciate that.
Well, it's okay, morning. Now that it's remote, we can't smell them.
Very true.
Very
true. Hey.
No, I'm talking if it was an old shirt.
No, I know, but that just hurts. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm trying to see about just how we can do this. And so I'm going to try my darndest to say hello to our friends in chat who have joined us on Patch and Switch TV on Twitch TV. We've got Absablog and Lootly joining us. We've got Charles Soar 3GOJ or something like that. Drapsnat's there, and then Kata Chaos 13X Kowski. See these long names, I don't understand. Look has men. I don't even know how to say that one there. I'm going to call you Luck because you look like a nice long name. Peach Orchard is there. Also, Shadiest of Pandas and Vizio MVP. Ever faithful, connected, and throwing the bad puns and jokes in chat. Thank you very much for joining us today. And hey,
and if you hit the
Roman and Mr. Shockley as well.
And if you hit the refresh button, we would also see One Wise Geek.
Oh, nice.
Alicidra,
DevOps
GoGo
Master,
Gadget 360,
All right,
and
so
DevOps Maverick.
and GoGo Gadget 360.
nice.
Or
So
did you
I
just
want
say
I
that?
want to share
I just-
I want to share a really fun thing that happened while waiting for coffee inside of the
Okay.
MVP Summit in Building 33. We had 3 different viewers that we didn't even know were viewers come up and
Wow.
say hello to Joey and or myself. They of course asked the obligatory who is Patch and who is Switch, and we decided to not answer once again because it is NDA. Yeah, found out that some folks from Sweden watch on the replays, and we met a nice person from Italy, and another person from an undisclosed location, just to basically say hello, and it was fun, very very fun.
Yeah, because isn't it Sweden? Isn't it like middle of the night now?
It's late, yeah,
It's late.
It's night there all the time, I think, isn't it? Because it's north.
No, technically, right now it is about 5 in the evening in Sweden because they're in. If I remember correctly, they're in Central European time, and
Yeah.
UTC is 4 o'clock right now. So UTC is 4 o'clock.
We also virtually have Wireless Connect has joined us as well in the chat room. I missed him. Thank you, Mr. Visio MVP. He happened to be in the moderator section. I don't know how he got to be a moderator. But yeah, he's in the moderator.
You weren't modding anything. We needed someone to step up.
Nice. Very, very nice. Like, do you want to come on camera? You're going to stay off camera? Like, people don't know who you are?
Do I have to?
Well, okay. He's just off camera here to say hello. There he is.
There he is.
Mr. Wireless Life.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was busy. I can't tell you what sessions he was in, but he was busy during the week for sure at MVP Summit. Cool stuff. Cool stuff.
Excellent. Excellent.
So
while you guys were all having fun with the MVP stuff, I was working for a living.
Well, we're working. It's work.
Sure.
Yeah, it was work.
Working.
Nice.
I'll be there in 3 days.
That's right. You're coming up for PowerShell.
PowerShell and DevOps Summits.
Nice. Oh, PowerShell. They've renamed it PowerShell and DevOps Summit. Very, very cool. And that's all next week, taking place in one of the hotels down the road.
Monday through Thursday at the Marriott in Bellevue.
Nice. I ran into Alexander, MVP, who's doing PowerShell stuff, and he said he came in for MVP Summit because it happened to be so close to PowerShell and automation and DevOps and stuff like that. So he's doing a twofer, or as they call this in Canada, he's doing a toonie.
He's doing a toonie.
Jared doesn't know what a toonie is, so
I know what a toonie is. It's a $2 coin, slightly larger than a loonie.
Yeah.
And it has 2 colors, signify it is a $2 tender.
And a fun fact: did you know if you put it in your freezer overnight, you can pop the center one out with a ball peen hammer and a nail?
Yes, but as you know, defacing legal tender is a federal crime.
Yeah, but it's just a Canadian federal crime. What's that?
You have to go shovel coal into the plant for the rest of the year
to keep the country warm, and every year sentence is actually only 0.75 days. That's all, because of the exchange rate. Oh my goodness! Hey, good to see you. We got some other folks that are popping in to say hello as well. DevOps Maverick. I didn't see him in the list or her in the list. One or the other. It's beer o'clock, very much so. It's water o'clock for Jared, and I do believe that both Pierre and I are sporting some coffees. But I will say that I am using my the breweries are calling coffee cup as my inspiration for today.
I was hoping Mr. Campbell would be online because I'm using the cup that he sent to me.
Nice. I never got one of those cups when I was on Run As Radio. I should talk to him about that. I ran into him as I was leaving yesterday. We were chatting about my electric truck, the Rivian, because his wife just picked one up in Canada and received delivery of it. And we were chatting about it. And he sends his condolences. He has a conflicting meeting. Again, these product group meetings on the side. So he could not come and attend in person for a particular live stream today.
Got it.
So
well, he is an important man.
Yeah, I know. I keep on forgetting. Sometimes I watch testing in production. Sometimes I don't. Do you have like segments you go through? Like, did you copy us completely, or
No.
did you just kind of do your own thing? Like, is there something we're supposed to be doing right now, or just talk?
Well, if this were a testing in production, we would have our opening banter where we talk about what's going on in our world and talk about things that are going on. Then we would figure out a subject we wanted to talk about for the week, and then we'd start doing some discussion around that topic and presenting.
But you don't like pre-plan out the topics and then have like scripts and everything all planned out that's been researched by your team of researchers?
We do have a production meeting where we discuss what topic we're going to talk about and who's going to do what, and kind of like the lineup of who's going to do in a demo, who's talking about what, are we getting a guest, and so on.
Yeah.
Well,
I've decided after listening to, again, this is not NDA, this is above the board, with all the stuff going on at Microsoft and the world in general in the AI space, I was going to propose to Joey the next time that we meet to do our discussion about what we talk about on the Patch and Switch show. I was going to suggest that we just start throwing caution to the wind and having AI create our scripts for us. And then we could just sit here and have an automated AI voice that we've trained with our voices to do the show and emote all the emotions that they can emote. And we could even probably have Midjourney go off and do some static talking pictures, or possibly even whatever that one is that does movies or something like that. And we could just have an AI generated show. It'd be hilarious. No, not at all. Oh, well, I tried, but it could come up with script ideas. And it's another day of the Patch and Switch show. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay, but I do have a question for you.
I don't even know what to say to that, man.
No. So, I do have a question for you with regards to testing in production stuff.
Okay.
Because I did bring something that I wanted to ask
you about. You want to test something in production?
Not really, but I at least want to ask you about. Is it going overboard with having one of the ATEM minis being used? Because we used this for the show when we were inside Channel 9.
The other week, yep.
The other week with Rich Campbell. It was the week before Easter show. Oh, nice.
This is what it would look like if it was AI generated. This is Game of Thrones, Rick.
It looks like Game of Thrones, Rick, for sure. I look about 80 years old there. So would it be overkill if I had multiple cameras set up for this in my home studio? Because when we start the show here, we have to go in and dedicate the camera towards the StreamYard tool that we use for being able to do the show. But I have additional cameras, but they're not hooked up to anything. Would it make sense to have them hooked up to this? And I could switch between camera shots?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely you could. One of the nice things, I know, Pierre, you have multiple cameras to show off, like you have a camera mounted over top where you can then do like demo like that.
He had to fit his head underneath the overhead cam.
Yeah, it's a bit of a contortionist exercise there, but
I think he's so old. I think he threw his back out, having to do the twist.
You can do with the ATEM Mini, but like the rest of us can't afford that. Or you could just do it. Plug all your cameras into OBS, use the OBS virtual camera into StreamYard, and then change them all using that. So
the OBS virtual cam is only the one source, whatever is coming out as the active camera inside of OBS software?
Yeah, so that's what I'm using. So all my cameras are plugged into OBS. I switch my scenes in OBS, which changes what comes out of the OBS virtual camera, and StreamYard grabs that and goes.
Got it. And I guess this wouldn't solve the problem of having two different applications trying to use the cameras, right?
It depends. Some cameras or some inputs don't like to be shared. The OBS virtual camera doesn't care. So you could have it on Teams. You can have it on whatever at the same time. Otherwise, it kind of tells you that the device is already in use in some cases.
Yeah. So Teams was not happy because my main camera was being used by StreamYard. Therefore, I had a black.
I have the doorbell just rang. I have a worker coming to do some stuff. He was not supposed to be here till 2, so I'm gonna step out for a second.
Okay.
And the mayhem continues.
Of course, it's got to continue, because why would we have nothing else but mayhem?
Right. So, work-wise, how have you been at work this week? Have you been on call? Are there things you can mention? Have you been doing other types of work and things? What's up with you?
I've actually been doing things I can actually kind of talk about.
Wow.
For once. Yeah.
That's a shocker.
I know, right?
Shocker.
Shocker, yes.
Exactly. Look at that. I can be funny. No. You can try.
Anywho.
What do you got for me, buddy? What have you been working on?
I've actually been working on dashboards for upper management stuff.
Oh.
Lots of data load. Going back to my old days as a DBA, and I have to say I am enjoying Power BI versus I remember in the day using Crystal Reports.
I was just about to say the Crystal Reports word.
Oh,
my God. First with that, if we have gray hair somewhere.
It caused all this gray hair. Crystal Reports did back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been having fun with this, and it's been a blast. And one of the coolest things I was able to do, I just had a meeting with our UI, UX experts for my org.
Oh, yeah.
And they were mentioning how, hey, everything's already accessible. We don't have to change anything for accessibility except for some color selections.
Nice.
To make them work better. Because when it goes to black and white, you can't see any color differentials between the colors.
Right.
So I'm like, perfect. Okay, cool. Other than that, it was like, this is great. You guys did. I was like, this is awesome. I'm happy this all worked. So it's been interesting. I've been using Azure Data Explorer as the backend database for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I highly recommend anyone and everyone that's doing work in large data sets, or especially around Azure or performance data from your servers or anything, get it into Azure Data Explorer, because it is so easy to query compared to other databases.
Nice. I have to get into that.
Language is so easy. Oh my gosh.
So is this like one board or multiples? I'm assuming you're doing multiples, that sort of stuff. I mean, if you're digging into data, it's always best to have different views, right?
Well, we have, of course, the high-level KPI view that is for senior management.
Yeah, I would call that more of a dashboard than anything else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, we're having to change definitions almost hourly.
Oh yeah.
Because it's looking so good and getting to a point. They're like, well, let's add this into it, and now we're actually trying to slow people down. Hold on, no, we don't need everything in here. Hold on.
So it rapidly turns into the spaghetti board.
Exactly, which is the thing we're trying to prevent.
Right. That makes sense.
We want it to be useful for our upper management, but also useful for teams, because it's around engineering standards.
Oh, okay.
So we want it good for both type of personas.
Mm-hmm.
Learn that word, personas.
Wow. Nice.
Yes.
And for those that are following along with us, if you've never been here before, I'm assuming you have, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. You're more than welcome to go ahead and type in bang word and then suggest a word for the next week's show, or the next month's show, or the next fortnight show, whatever interval we happen to be working on. Work-wise this week, as you probably guessed from a lot of the talk about MVP Summit earlier throughout the show.
Was there something going on this week?
There was a summit. There was a summit, which is very, very cool. First one since 2019. It was well attended, and there were a whole bunch of new first-timers that hadn't been there before, as well as a good mixture of existing folks that had been there many times before. Lots of selfies were taken against the wall of names, against various different backdrops. If you're interested, even as a non-MVP person, you can always go to hashtag MVP Summit or hashtag MVP Buzz on the Twitters and other social networks, and you'll see the non-NDA type stuff up there. to be able to go off and to see the pictures, see the action. It's a miniature conference. If you're familiar with Microsoft online campus or physical campus, this is what we call Building 33, which is a miniature conference center built into campus. Pretty cool. We had a big keynote room with lots of chairs. We had regular size rooms. We call those MPRs, multi-purpose rooms, that were used of varying sizes, and a rotating set of topics that we can't talk about for a variety of different awards. And all sorts of execs were there. All sorts of engineers were there.
Nice.
Lots of fun was had across the board.
I know because I'm a part of developer division, I know there was a lot of conversations before the summit about, hey, what topics do people want to bring in front of the MVPs and all this stuff. Yep.
Yeah. So it's an awesome collaborative aspect of trying to bring folks together, and also trying to bring teams together to share information under NDA. And just generally sharing of information. And as always, there's always good, how should we say this, candid feedback that comes back to the product teams in a variety of forms. And that is also very much appreciated as well.
Yep.
So very, very cool stuff. There was conference breakfast available every day, which was also inclusive of conference bacon. And so there was good conference bacon. There wasn't a variety. There wasn't a plethora of bacon types. There was just one type. So you did see the cost reduction mechanisms in place with only having one type of bacon. But it was quite nice. And there was even an inside joke that happened at one point in time with the organizers to the AV vendors and production staff that were there, where the person that I know in question paid out of pocket just to be able to have a special batch of conference bacon delivered just to the production team meetings. So they could have their own bacon, which they were very proud and took a picture of with themselves inside of it. So that did not come out of the MVP budget. That did not come out of the conference. That was just pass the hat. Let's go off and buy some bacon and have it show up.
Gotcha. Well, that's one way to get it done.
So that was awesome. So because of current constraints and stuff like that, we didn't have the ability to have a huge amount of people at Microsoft that were from away to be able to come in, unless they happened to find some coexistent stuff that they had to be here for. So they did an open call for volunteers to be able to help. So signing people in, doing registration, pointing people in the right direction. Lots of moderators. We had online moderators answering questions. We had in-person moderators in the room. We had note takers and stuff like that as well. I ticked the box that said photography. And I'm almost regretting doing that because they put me to work.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I was just going to take some candid shots here and there, walk around, socialize with some friends and stuff like that. No, I had a shot list every day. Yep. I had sessions I had to go to, people I had to capture. And I can definitely say that I closed all my rings every single day that I was doing stuff, going back and forth between the different rooms for being able to do it. So that was fun.
I had some slight issue with that personally, but that's just me.
Taking pictures?
Having volunteers taking pictures.
No. Hey, man, I've been taking conference pictures for 17 years.
I understand that, but
Can you spill the beans candidly, or is this something we talk about offline?
It's just being a amateur photographer, knowing professional photographers, and there were a lot of folks that were asked who are semi-professional or professional photographers to provide services for free.
Yeah.
To a large corporation.
Well, it is a volunteer position. If you're interested, it's for hobbyists. I don't consider myself professional.
I know, but they actually ask people who are semi-professional or professional.
Yeah. And they declined, I'm assuming?
Yes, because they were expecting to be paid.
Yeah.
For their work, just like anyone else is.
Good call. So as the amateur, I had a great time.
Good. Well, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, it was fun. Absolutely fun.
But
The rest of the conference, the one thing is I didn't get invited to any parties. I did have individuals that we got together with and had some pints with, which was fun. Left the parties, if there were any, to the individual product teams and to the MVP groups that they're part of. And basically just tried to be accessible. Having a great time. So
yeah. No,
most are traveling back in the near future, if not today, if not tomorrow. So please travel safe back to where you come from.
Exactly.
And enjoy.
Well, if you're already home, hope you traveled well.
And Seattle came out with just the right weather, like it should. Sunspots and rain randomly as you're trying to walk between buildings and get dumped on. It was perfect. Absolutely perfect.
This was the one week I actually, up until Tuesday or so, I was like, hey, I think I might work from campus one day this week. And then I was like, oh, MVP Summit is on campus, not at the hotels. Never mind. I'm going to not try and drive in the middle of that traffic with all the construction and then MVP Summit.
Well, the funny thing was the construction with the buildings for Microsoft, it's taken out the major intersection that's right by the conference center. So you had to go around everything to go to the other side of the building and then back again. So
and my building's right next to the conference center. So I knew the traffic was going to be bad. Then add in that, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to be in the middle of all that.
Oh, nice.
I'd rather sit on the 405.
It was fun.
Well, good. And I'm guessing people got some great knowledge and were able to provide some good feedback to our product teams and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, all the stuff that we can't talk about. Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's why we're awkwardly have these pauses right now, trying to figure out what we can say, what we can't. So we're just going to move on to the next section.
Exactly.
Next section being beer money.
Yes.
Do you do work for other people for free in exchange for beer?
I do.
What'd you do this past week, man?
Since we last talked, I was actually helping my sister set up some things with her home network.
Oh yeah.
I got her onto the Ubiquity, not the line like we have, but the home router and home.
Is it the Alien one?
Amplify. So yeah, the Amplify and the Alien. There's two of them. So she's on the Amplify, and I was trying to explain a couple things, and then she was able to fix it herself. I was like, wow. I mean, that's how good, and she's very non-technical.
Yep.
So
very nice. It's now up and working again, and she's able to control it with her app on her phone.
It was up and working. It was up and working. She was adding a new zone.
Oh yeah.
And we were trying to figure out where to add it so that they have a big sport court in their backyard.
Yeah.
The kids always, and they play pickleball back there with everybody. And she's like, I just don't get that good of Wi-Fi coverage on the court.
Nice. I think we just lost your audio. Did you go mute or did we lose you altogether? You back again?
I'm back again. You're calling me for work.
Nice. Work is important.
But they as soon as Pierre gets back, I'll give him a call. But we didn't want to put the Wi-Fi relay point outside.
Right. Consumer version is not waterproof.
Exactly. So my brother-in-law came up with a great idea. It's up in the attic, all the way back by like the window out towards the sport court.
Okay, so it's at the absolute extreme of the house to be able to do that capture up there.
But it's also connected to a couple other points, and we figured out connectivity is fine. A little slower speed, but that's because it's relayed between a couple of the relays. It's not wired relay. So it works perfect.
Shadiest of Pandas concurs that the Amplify setup is quite sweet. He's got his parents and his sister switched over to that recently.
Oh,
now, does it use a wired backhaul between the devices, or is it wireless between the devices, or is it a choice of one or the other?
It's wireless, and from what I understand, the way Ubiquity did it is every relay point basically has two Wi-Fis. Okay. One that's the Wi-Fi AP, and the other is the backhaul to the main.
So you're not sacrificing the client speed by co-locating the data transfer on both of them. Okay,
Correct.
Nice.
Now that's why that one that's the furthest away, because it relays through another relay, is slower, is because it has to backhaul through a second.
Got it.
But it works.
Beer money wise, I've actually been helping out my daughter, who's off in NDSU, trying to troubleshoot her connections. She has a wireless Roku stick that fits in the back of the TV for Roku. And I've been trying to get her to use the wired connection. She's like, I gave her a docking station for her laptop, her Surface device. I gave her the cable and everything else like that. And I found out yesterday that she's never taken out of the Ziploc bag that I gave her inside of her packing crate. She's never used it at all. Oh, God.
Yeah.
So she has no idea if the plugs beneath your desk are even live or not.
Oh, my.
But then, of course, we're troubleshooting that to get it all ready to go. And then I've never used a Roku device that plugs in the back of the TV directly. I've always used the square hockey puck style one that you plug in with an Ethernet cable. And the small one that plugs in the back of the TV doesn't have a wired connection. I'm like, well, you could have told me this before we started spending half an hour troubleshooting this at the beginning. So she's just going to basically abort. The TV is going back home with her roommate on May 4th, which is not that far away. And she'll just deal with it and have a different solution for next year. That was fun trying to teach her about Ethernet jacks, checking for link lights to see if she's got connectivity. And then also the school uses a Mac registration on a per user account basis for any IoT devices like Alexa, if you wanted one, or Roku or whatever it is like that. And so my guess is the database entry with the MAC address is probably aged out and needed to be renewed by somebody, and it wasn't. That'd be my guess. The other piece of beer money I've been doing is actually with my co-host, who isn't here, so I can roast him sufficiently. He's been trying to work with me on speccing out and getting a proper Raspberry Pi hole, or Raspberry Pi set up as a Pi hole, because he's concerned about he's concerned about the amount of traffic in his house and trying to reduce it and stuff like that. And the Pi hole is an obvious way to reduce your IoT DNS queries, your reporting information, stuff like that. So he's been trying to get the Pi hole, but of course Raspberry Pis are in short demand, or high demand. Sorry, not short demand.
They're in short supply, high demand.
Short supply, high demand. There we go. Thank you for the adjectives. And he's sitting there F5ing on the website trying to be able to go off and get a Raspberry Pi 4, most recent one. I had a 3 kicking around the office somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's back here in my shelf somewhere. I should probably try to find that. But I resurrected mine once again. I did a reinstall of the OS and got a new version of Raspberry Pi OS on it. Got a new version of the Pi hole on it as well. Got it nice and working once again and happy. And it just amazes me the amount of DNS queries that happen. It's just freaking crazy how much that stuff goes through. That's me working with him to get that ready to go for his Vegas move and Vegas setup.
I might have a small recommendation for you, actually.
A small recommendation, like a Pi recommendation?
No. I have this GL internet travel router that I use.
Oh, yeah?
And I primarily use it in the RV. And it allows me to set up basically a local wireless network that I can then relay onto either a Wi-Fi, or it's got physical plugs for WAN and LAN.
Oh, yeah?
The USB, I can actually plug in a phone and use it as a modem.
Oh, wow. Does it have a G5 modem inside of it already or not?
It has a, I don't know if it has a 5G modem. I think it has a 4G modem built in, possibly. Oh, yeah. The other thing that this can do, though, it has a whole bunch of software you can install on it, including VPN, where you can actually make this whole device VPN to a VPN endpoint.
Oh, yeah?
So all your traffic goes over VPN, and I believe it has the equivalent of a Pi hole built in.
That's very cool.
So, unfortunately, this one is a Wi-Fi 6 version of it, that I just got to replace because I gave my old one to a friend who was traveling. But I do have my next project right behind me here, thanks to Mr. Joe Kelly and yourself. This is my Ubiquiti configuration for the RV that I got to take up and install.
you're consolidating all the pieces, getting ready for when you actually break it out of storage and get it all wired up for your springtime, summertime travels.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And I'll have I have a Ubiquiti security gateway, 8-port hub, the AP. Thank you, sir, for the AP.
Yep.
I have a cloud key, thanks to Mr. Kelly.
Actually, I think you didn't pay me for that yet, did you?
You gave it to me.
Give is a we're overdue for beers in a chat, like a social chat. That's all.
All right, we can have a chat.
There we go. I want to call out and say thanks to Gadget 360 who's been sharing inside the chat. He mentioned this thing. They actually have a pie locator website that tracks inventory. That's amazing. How did I not know that? To be able to go through and be able to find stuff where required. Joey ended up finally getting a Pi 4 someplace with 4 gigs of RAM.
Nice.
There's a Samsung SD card that was on sale for like $10 for 64 gigs that he has for the OS.
Yeah,
run on it, stuff like that. So I believe he's going to be setting that up this weekend.
By the way, we have a new guest with us. It's Pierre's chair.
Oh, nice. Now, if we had AI, we could do an AI animated mouth talking on the back of the chair.
Exactly.
For some stuff.
Might even speak better than Pierre.
Nice.
Maybe.
You never know. Depends how many coffees Pierre's had, if he's going to be conscious or cognitive or not. That works.
But no, I'm super impressed with these little devices. Gadget said, yep, it's traveling. This one doesn't run OpenWRT or main. They have their own OS, but my last one was the OS is even still today being updated. Yeah. Like they haven't slowed down on the updates at all.
Oh, cool.
And Gadget, sorry, you can't mention URLs. We'll go ahead and mention this.
How fast can you do compared to my copy and paste? That work?
I believe, as you can see, I was there first. So near.
Darn it. There's a tie. You owe me a Coke. There's a tie.
But like I said, the company that makes this one, I had their older version, and it's still getting software updates.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Which, when you talk about any sort of router devices, is incredible. Home router devices. I'm impressed with the company and everything. It worked great in my RV last year. The cool thing I'm looking at this year, for those of you who have seen the Ubiquiti security gateways, of course, it has 2 WAN connection ports.
Yeah.
One can be my T-Mobile 5G home internet, and one could be Starlink.
Yeah. Just make sure you buy that $10 SPF to Ethernet adapter to make it so you can use it. So it works great.
They're both on my device. They're both Ethernet ports, and I have Ethernet for both.
On your travel device?
Yeah.
Or on the Ubiquiti stuff?
On the Ubiquiti.
What? Oh, okay. That's right. You got the security. That's the security gateway version.
Yeah, the old security gateway. I don't have your guys' fun little.
Yeah, the Dream Machine. The Dream Machine version has an SPF for one of them and Ethernet for the other one. So it's a $10 adapter you can buy. Yeah.
So I have 3 gigabit. Now it's gigabit, but with
whatever
5G internet modem and Starlink,
it works.
Gigabit's just fine. So
very cool.
Yeah, so that'll be nice. Like I said, I'm going to install that this summer. I'm actually, so speaking of the Jayhawk, I'm taking it out to Everything RV, hashtag not sponsored, hashtag no ad. Great bunch of folks out there, and I'm getting my machine all set up for the summer fun. They're gonna.
It looks like Go Gadget 360 is now out of 20-second suspension, so he can
Yes.
chat once again with us. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. Very cool stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm super excited to get back out on the road, and I'm not going to be doing the months long thing this summer, but I'll be going out and having some fun.
Trips here and there, that works. I've got some motorcycle trips planned. I generally am disconnected because there's no connection in the middle of nowhere. I don't think they
need a base camp. I can go set it up.
They don't have the Starlink small enough form factor to be able to sit on a motorcycle.
I understand that, but if I'm your base camp, the Wi-Fi would be set up.
I don't know if the Jayhawk could make it through the trails that we're going through.
Not the trails you're on, but they come out every once in a while, right, to main roads?
That would require logistics and planning. That would assume that there's a level of planning involved in these things. Either way. Well,
I'm going to be within 100 miles of this. Okay, I'll try and find something.
We'll talk.
All right. Yes, Vizio MVP said Ethernet. Yep, that's how that security gateway works. It can work on Ethernet.
Nice. Very cool. Well,
but so that's kind of my my beer money has been all that lately.
Cool, man. I mean, I got kind of a beer money thing as well, a third one that I don't remember if I talked about it or not, but we had a big discussion when we were in Studio C, the secret bunker on campus with Rich Campbell, talking about the Synology NAS devices.
Ah, yes.
So I went off and I bought one because my Synology NAS equivalent, which was a home hack together Windows Server box, getting a little bit long in the teeth when I realized that my hard drives were getting up to 10 years old. So I would decide to do a refresh, and I picked up a 923 Plus Synology.
Nice. Very nice.
And the 923 Plus actually allows you to upgrade the RAM on them quite nicely and quite easily. So
excellent.
I have a couple of RAM sticks to be able to install on my Synology.
Nice.
I only went for small drives, so I have 4 terabyte drives that are set up as a well, compared to Rich Campbell, who's got like 12 terabyte drives or something like that. He's got a lot of media.
I wonder, he's got, what was he talking about? 15 years of run as radio?
Oh yeah, no, he's got them in there. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, so my Synology device is now currently whirring away behind me here. You can't hear it, it's out of the way. But the 923 Plus Synology device has the ability to also have NVMe drive set up as cache. So you have read-write cache you can use as well.
Very cool.
The 923 Plus was on sale for, I want to say, $100 off, and that's enough to push me over the edge to buy one. So I think it was like $500 for a diskless version, and then buy the discs appropriately as you like. Yeah, and you're all set up. Bob's your uncle, updated, installed. I think I might actually push a little video out about the install process sometime this week or weekend. And yeah, up and running. It's all great. And my wife is happy because she now has access to all the photos once again.
That I was just going to ask, what was the wife acceptance factor or spouses?
We also, the one thing we talked about is that that particular device has enough CPU power and extra RAM for memory that it can run a very fast version of Plex Media Server on your home system as well.
Very cool. Very cool.
So we now have browser access and Xbox access, or even Roku access to all of our pictures and our home movies. Seeing my 21-year-old son when he was like 18 months bouncing in his bouncy chair, ways you can embarrass your teenagers very easily when their friends come over. It's perfect.
That's nice. I've been doing some cleanup of a lot of my digital media and stuff, and ran into a directory of videos I still have a tough time even trying to look at. It's videos I took with my father the last month he was alive.
Yeah. It's great to have access to those.
Some stories that are just amazing. They would be fun to share sometime, kind of things. But at the same time, it's tough. I'm slightly tearing up just even thinking about it.
Yeah.
But I did a little upgrade too on my file server, except mine was a downgrade.
Yeah. Nice.
Because I have it. My file server was a 10th generation Nook.
Yeah.
And it was a 10th generation i7 Nook with 32 gigs of RAM. Didn't have the discrete video card, but it did okay. Teams just drove it into the ground. Right. So I ended up buying one of the newer Nooks. That's my work computer that has discrete video, and Teams runs great on it because of the discrete video. So I made the 7th or the 10th gen my file server, a little file server in the house.
Yeah.
Well, I have a idea for it. I'm going to install it in my RV as my traveling kind of editor of pictures. And if I need a computer, it's just, I can actually attach it to the back of the monitor that's installed in my RV.
Nice. That could work.
So I took my mom's 6th generation i5 Nook. I mean, it's just a file server. It's just serving files. Running perfect.
Nice.
Over here.
Well, I've been enjoying the Nook software the Synology software for being able to set up the drives and get redundancy across and stuff like that. Hot swap capability. I see GoGo Gadget 360 is talking about his setup or their setup with the 12 terabyte drives. I have not gone in and used some of the plugins of extra features of doing cloud clients and doing backups of devices. I don't know if I want to say this and jinx myself, but I don't back up my systems, my home PCs, right? Servers, yes, but like all my data is backed up on my box. Do I care? Because I'm so programmed to be part of the Windows Insider builds for my systems. I don't bother. I don't really bother backing them up because all my data is backed up on my OneDrive personal or OneDrive business account for all the documents that I work on. All the apps that I use are software downloadable and available on, in this case, my Synology NAS to reinstall again as required. And I've got a batch script that goes off and simply goes them all back on again. So do I need to back up my system? Like my data's backed up. Prove me wrong. Fight me.
I can't find my aspirin.
Seriously.
I will fight you. Yes, you need to back up at a minimum, back up your data, but you can back up certain configurations that you can then just restore and run.
But I just do a new OS install, run my automation script to install my software. As soon as I configure my OneDrive for Business or OneDrive Personal on that box, all my data is back again.
I guess it's because I can't fit all my data into my OneDrives anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, like I absolutely back up my Synology. I absolutely back up my servers in the house, but my workstations, I don't really care about. And I've trained my kids the same way, throwing caution to the wind. All of their data is stored inside of their documents folder. And they have multiple generations of the documents folder from when they were like grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, using OneDrive.
I think
when OneDrive included the option of backing up your desktop folder.
Rick, I think it's because I do photography and video work.
Yeah.
That I'm having the biggest heartache because I can't fit all of my assets into OneDrive. So I have to figure out a backup for that.
So all of my assets of photos do not live on my computer. They live on the Synology.
Yes, but if you're trying to edit video or edit photos, in my case, going across the network is slow as F.
Oh, yeah.
So I have it local on SSD.
You don't have a 10 gig network in your house?
No.
Between all your machines?
No.
Wow.
I don't make. I'm not a principal yet.
Yeah. Nice.
So,
and Absolutely definitely calls me out. He says, just make sure that your app install script is being updated. Chocolatey helps out with that, and same with Winget as well. For different options for doing things. So I'm getting better at doing that kind of stuff. Our good friend over in Scotland, Sarah Lean, got me into the Winget stuff with some of her blog posts and some of her videos talking about Winget. That's been helpful on a bunch of different things for sure. But yeah, I'm getting there. But yeah, for me, so like when I offload the pictures off my camera, it goes temporarily inside of my OneDrive pictures protected folder. I do the editing and removal of the crap pictures, and I, do some cleanup on them and stuff like that. And then I take them and I move them from there into my Synology long-term picture storage area.
Got it.
That's my workflow.
So I have a different workflow, and part of that workflow now is when I take the pictures off my camera onto my desktop, I then rename them to a naming convention that I have for all my cameras and photos and everything. And then I immediately make a copy up to Azure Storage at that point.
Oh, that's cool.
And then the Azure Storage then synchronizes to my little file server in my house.
Yep.
Because I am a creature of habit of the 3-2-1 process.
Great. Good.
3 copies, 2 different medias, 1 offsite.
Yep.
And my Azure Storage is my offsite. But if the network's down, I have that as a backup locally. And so, yeah.
Nice.
So,
well, sorry for raising our watchers, attendees, and audiences' blood pressures for sharing some stuff. But to each their own for being able to go off and protect it. Because, yeah, I would be devastated if I lost some photos off different things for sure.
We got to, by the way, the... GoGo Gadget 360 clipped.
Nice. Back up your systems. I love it.
So
I don't back up my systems. Who needs a backup?
How many times you've destroyed things in general?
I get numb. That's all. I get numb.
Yes, you are numb. The rest of us just shake our heads.
I said numb, not dumb.
I said numb too.
Well, it kind of
anytime you announce you're doing anything, Rick, you realize we come over primarily to film.
Nice.
Not to
help. It bleeds nicely into the final segment that we do before the naming segment, which is random spending. I do have to admit, I am literally sitting next to the king of random spending, Anthony Bartolo. Whenever he comes to the States, like look at some of the stuff that he shipped to my house and has them sitting here. Like, look at this. Look at this. Can you see that?
Oh, wow. Is that the Bronco?
Explain what that is, though, man. Like the pictures.
The Lego Bronco. The Lego Bronco.
It's the Defender. So it's actually.
Oh, the Defender. Okay.
No, the mic. So this is the Defender, Land Rover Defender. It's got the most intricate gear system in Lego in Technique. 4-wheel drive, 4-speed. It's shifted from the inside of the console, inside of the vehicle itself. Had to pick this up, and now I have to figure out how to bring this home. It's too big to carry as carry-on. The airline that I flew broke my luggage, and so they gave me another luggage, which is a little bit smaller. So I'm now, do I duct tape this to the outside of the luggage to bring it back home, or do I go to Marshall's and buy a luggage just to bring this back home? So that's what I'm going through right now. Also picked up a flux capacitor, not available in Canada, so I have to buy it here. I'm just finishing off those, I love Lego. So just finishing off a DeLorean, the Back to the Future DeLorean for Lego. So I'll have a whole section of my backdrop now. We'll have the out of time plate, which I also got, flux capacitor, and the Marty McFly and Doc Brown Lego figures with the DeLorean, and the light up kit for the DeLorean as well.
Yeah.
Wait, who's this third guy? Who's this other guy?
His chair's back. Yeah. So he's more and more boxes arrive, and that normally causes Bailey to lose her crap, my dog, because someone's coming to the door every 5 minutes with more boxes for Bartolo.
So I guess my only question for Bartolo is, so you're getting the flux capacitor.
Yep.
Do you have yellow cake uranium available in Canada?
It's called maple syrup. It's freely tappable at any tree. We've converted, because you remember they converted to Mr. Fusion. So
Yes.
it just take my compost box and dump that with the maple syrup, and we're good to go.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're all set.
You can power anything with maple syrup.
Oh yeah. And if you need turbo, you just use high fructose corn syrup here in the States, which is disgusting. But sometimes have that. So you have less than 1 minute to talk about random spending if you have any, Pierre, in the last couple of weeks.
How about an entire bathroom of tiles, vanity, hardware?
You've been doing most of that work yourself. I've been
doing
seeing
the mud on the drywall.
Yeah,
doesn't sound very random to me, frankly.
Yeah,
it was random to me because my wife just decided to do it and then just ordered all the stuff. Now I just have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's quite the honey-do list that you have to be able to finish off.
No kidding.
And it's looking good from the photos you've shown. You're a craftsman, my friend, and working well on that.
The only thing I won't do, well, two things: plumbing, because you don't want to end up with a lake in your house. So pay the professionals.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
and two,
electric
I will do, but I'll get it inspected.
My philosophy on electric is that it only hurts for a couple of milliseconds.
You remind me of that home improvement episode when Team the Toolman Taylor shows his son how to rewire a dishwasher.
Yeah.
And then right after shows him how to treat a second-degree burn.
Yeah.
That
works.
That's pretty much it right there.
So you don't do plumbing. What's number two?
Is drywall mud.
Drywall mudding.
Yeah.
That's why I have the guy up there.
I actually am willing to do plumbing. I'm willing to do electrical to the box, but I'm not willing to put the box onto the mains.
Yeah.
And the other two things that I will not do is drywall mudding or paint. And everyone's like, why won't you paint? When I paint, I see all the bad spots. In fact, I helped a friend paint their house when I first moved out here in 2004. I've gone over even back recently, and they haven't repainted, and I see all the spots where it was light where I painted. Like I didn't get a good coat on it. And I see it, and it bothers me. So that's why I let somebody else do it.
we appreciate you for your tenacity and attention to detail, Jared.
Yes. It's called OCD.
One job that I really didn't like that I had to do when I was a kid was in the home that we had. Actually, I did this when I owned my own house back in Canada. It was a turn of the century home, and I had to take off 9 layers of wallpaper. Multiple, like you didn't even bother using steam. You were literally using water and squirting water on the walls to be able to scrape off the wallpaper that would go back to the 1890s.
I remember that house.
Oh, it was crazy getting those walls down to the plaster lath to be able to go in and fix up the plaster and then go off and paint them again. Yeah, so wallpaper, and I just have bad memories of the smell of the horsehair glue that was used to put the wallpaper on the walls back in those days.
You reminded me, I had to water the bonsai. It's a bonsai.
Nice, the bonsai.
Go Gadget 360 saying, yeah, well, after you pull off the 9 layers, you'll find out there's just studs.
Yeah, very close to just studs. The coolest thing we did find was we actually saw the 1892 signature that the plasterer had put on to the plaster, which was really cool. That was probably the coolest find that we had. But we have about 2 minutes left. We have to go off and choose next week's title. If we have a show next week or the week after, whatever happens to be. I can't see it because it's too small. Let me see.
Here are the words: NDA, timeout jail, overkill, mayhem, back up your stuff, Lego and luggage, got Rick, crystal reports, and pie hole.
Oh, nice. Well, I think we'd absolutely have to have NDA in there in homage to MVP week. That was this week.
Yep.
For NDA, for sure. Want to pick one there, Pierre?
I'll go with Lego and luggage.
Yeah. Jared always gets to pick, so I'm going to let Bartolo pick the last one.
I have to go with back up your stuff.
Of course, he was going to go back up yo stuff. Of course.
All right, there we go. We have our name.
have the
NDA,
name,
back up your stuff, Lego and luggage.
So we might or might not have a show next week. I'm assuming we're going to. It all depends on whether or not we can pull the crew together. I swear we are going to get onto a regular cadence. And yes, I will go through the rest of today and make sure that we have the video backup version for backup your stuff of the previous episode. You can go off and watch for our new listeners that we saw at MVP Summit, and also process the audio only backup as well, which is good too. But with that, I think I should probably kick off the band if we got it.
Yeah, band is playing.
Absolutely. Alice Drea. Again, this is I don't know how Joey does this. Alice Drea's there. AZ Cloud Elf. Nice to see you, my friend. Charles Zor, 3GOJ, DevOps, Maverick, Drapsnat, Google, Go Gadget 360, Lisa Bay, Kata, Chaos 13X, Kowski, Peach Orchard, Shadiest of Shady Pandas, Sophie Cow, Veronica. Oh, hey, Veronica.
Veronica's here.
Good to see you. And Vizio MVP holding up the end of the line. Thank you very much, sir. Pierre, Jared, Bartolo over here. Thanks a lot for coming out to have a chat with us. I got to go off, get on the coffee. And maybe I should think about getting one of those backup routines running on my systems.
Azure Backup works for you.
Have a weekend, everybody.
Cheers.
Take care. Is this thing done yet?
No.
It's coming.
You have to hit the end broadcast.